10 lies your woman says that mean the opposite, the truth you must know, psychology tips. Love cannot live where there is no trust. Edith Hamilton. The sharpest pain isn't losing someone, it's sharing a bed with a person whose heart has already left. You feel it in the stillness, the kiss that's present but empty, the embrace that holds no claim, the eyes that meet yours without honesty. I know that terrain too well. I've stood on both sides of the line, hurt by lies and guilty of them, learning the hard way that betrayal doesn't begin with a body. It begins with words. We don't only break faith with what we do, we break it with what we say to cover what we've done. If you're a man in midlife, hear this clearly. Clarity is not cruelty, and boundaries are not bitterness. In the next lessons, I'll unpack 10 common phrases people use to hide disloyalty. The little deflections that sound soothing but ring hollow under pressure. I'll show you how to spot the tells, stay steady, and protect your dignity without rage or drama. You deserve a relationship built on trust, not performances. Let's strip away the noise, see what's real, and choose respect. First for yourself, and then for the love that's worthy of you. Lie number 1, the forever lie. Sounds like a warm blanket. You're the only one. It lands like devotion, but when words and behavior don't match, it's not love, it's cover fire. And any adult who's juggling two worlds knows how powerful that line can be because it targets your deepest need, to be chosen, not shared. Here's where psychology tips meet real life. Don't judge the sentence, judge the pattern. When someone feels you drifting or their guilt rising, they deploy the phrase like a sedative to calm your doubt and quiet their shame. And if you swallow it blindly, you don't just risk losing them, you risk losing your self-respect. Be the man who reads consistency, not poetry. That is the difference between fantasy and reality. You must look for alignment, time with you that doesn't vanish when it's inconvenient, communication that doesn't go dark on weekends, stories that don't shift every time you ask simple questions. Don't interrogate, observe, don't beg, decide. Don't outsource your certainty to a promise anyone can speak in 5 seconds. Use psychology tips, love advice, dating tips that actually protect your heart, require congruence, not confession, require action, not adjectives, require presence, not performances. In modern dating, the truth is visible in logistics. Does her calendar, her friends, her routines have room for you without secrecy or last-minute disappearances? Be fair and don't generalize about all women. Focus on the person in front of you and whether her choices honor the connection. That is mature strength, not paranoia. You must set boundaries you can keep. I don't do blurred lines. I don't compete for attention. I leave when I'm handled like a placeholder. Paradoxically, the man who won't chase validation is the one who earns real devotion because he trades neediness for standards. Don't mistake reassurance for exclusivity. Exclusivity is a lifestyle, not a lyric. If "you're the only one" arrives only when you pull away, treat it as a signal to slow down and watch, not a reason to speed up and hope. Be steady, courteous, and clear. I'm here for someone who is here for me in daylight, not just in dialogue. That is how you keep your center. You must remember the simplest psychology tips. Attention is the currency, patterns are the ledger, character is the credit score. Practical love advice. Protect your peace before you protect a promise and let silence do its job. People living the truth don't need a speech to prove it. Practical dating tips. Ask for what you want once, state your boundary once, and then let outcomes teach you what speeches can't. Repeat these psychology tips when your emotions try to bargain. Revisit this love advice when nostalgia edits the past, and lean on these dating tips when chemistry tries to outrun clarity. Don't demand proof, require alignment. Be respectful, be direct, be gone if necessary. That is the antidote to the forever lie, and you must choose it if you want a love that's real enough to never need the line in the first place. Lie number 2. The future fake. When she brings up marriage, kids, or that stunning dream vacation and says, I can't wait for our future. Treat it like a velvet curtain, not the stage itself. I've said those words with another man's number still living in my phone under a sweet little decoy. I sketched castles in the sky so he wouldn't see the cracks in the ground. That is the trick. It isn't romance, it's redirection. It isn't devotion, it's distraction. Future talk feels like love because it sounds like forever, but sometimes it's just cover. Don't confuse poetry with proof. Be the man who listens to time, not only to tone. In love psychology, this is a classic. Soothing the present by overpromising the future. If someone is describing 5 years from now, you stop asking about 5 hours ago. That's how suspicion gets tranquilized. That's how guilt gets buried under glitter. It buys time, it buys trust, it borrows your belief and spends it fast. And the more you invest in tomorrow, the less you notice today. Her coldness, her distance, the late nights that showed up unannounced. You start treating words like vows, and by the time reality shatters, you've poured years into someone who quietly left months ago. Don't be hypnotized by someday. Be anchored in right now. You must watch patterns, not promises. That is masculine clarity. That is how you protect your peace and your relationship goals. If you truly want to attract women the right way, don't sell futures you can't cash. Lead with consistent action. Align your relationship goals with daily behavior. Texts returned, plans kept, boundaries honored. In love psychology, consistency is king. Manipulation dies when habits don't match the hype. Ask yourself, does her calendar match her claims? Do the small Thursdays line up with the big Sundays? Don't debate the speech. Audit the schedule. You must reward honesty and withdraw from theater. Be calm, be precise. Be the man who hears the music but still reads the sheet. To attract women who are serious, demonstrate you are serious, measured, steady, present. Repeat it to yourself. Words impress me. Patterns persuade me. That is how love psychology turns from illusion to insight. Real commitment is present tense. Real affection is observable. Real loyalty is measurable. If the future keeps expanding but the present keeps shrinking, the math is wrong. Don't chase the horizon. Study the footprints. Set relationship goals that happen this week, not just one day. Protect your standards. Guard your attention. Choose reality over romance scripts. Because when you do, the castles fall or become blueprints you can actually build. And yes, when the smoke clears, all the lies point to the biggest one, the one every man has heard. If this opened your eyes, don't keep it to yourself. Hit like, share this video with another man who needs to hear it, and make sure you subscribe for more psychology tips and love advice that protect your heart. Remember this truth. Words mean nothing without actions. To lock it into your mind, drop this in the comments right now. I trust actions, not promises. Lie number 3, the dead bedroom excuse. When she rolls over and whispers, "I'm just not in the mood," don't be fooled. That is not the truth, it is a cover. Desire does not vanish, it simply moves. If she has already given herself to someone else, her body may be in your bed, but her presence, her fire, her soul is elsewhere. Sex has never been just about the body, it's about connection, presence, and loyalty. When she says she's too tired, stressed, or hormonal, the reality might be far darker. She is not empty, she is already full, but not with you. The not in the mood excuse is the softest veil for the harshest truth. As Marcus Aurelius, the old Stoic emperor, warned, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. That strength means recognizing when intimacy has died and not chasing after what is no longer yours. Too many men respond to rejection with begging, more patience, more affection, more desperate effort, thinking they can spark back a flame that has already been handed to another. But the harder you push, the colder she becomes. And every time you accept rejection blindly, you are training yourself to tolerate betrayal. Don't do it. Don't beg for intimacy. Don't plead for scraps of passion. If her fire has gone, You don't throw yourself at the coffin, you step back. You protect your dignity. You guard your frame. A man who understands Stoicism, whether modern Stoic or old Stoic, knows this truth. Your value is not measured by her willingness to touch you, but by your ability to walk away when you are no longer respected. Epictetus said it best. If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. Let her think you're cold. Let her think you're distant. Better that than be the man begging for the warmth of a woman who has already left. In modern life, this lesson is more urgent than ever. Men are distracted by social media illusions, by quick dopamine fixes, by the lie that love is endless if you just try harder. But love dies when respect dies. That is the truth you must face. That is the test you must pass. Never let your worth hang on another's betrayal. You must embody the modern Stoic mindset, calm under pressure, unshaken in dignity, firm in self-respect. When intimacy becomes manipulation, your response is not weakness, it is withdrawal. When desire turns into excuses, your answer is not begging, it is boundaries. Don't lose yourself chasing what is gone. Hold the line. Protect your soul. In the end, mastery is not about controlling her. Mastery is about controlling yourself. The old Stoic and the modern Stoic agree on this principle. The greatest victory is victory over your own impulses. Don't let loneliness make you weak. Don't let desire blind you to truth. A real man would rather sleep alone than share a bed with betrayal. That is how you win. That is how you master life. Lie number 4, the clean slate lie. One of the most dangerous because it hides in plain sight behind something as innocent as hygiene. When she rushes to the shower the moment she walks through the door and throws out the excuse, "I just needed to freshen up," don't be fooled, because she's not rinsing off the day, she's rinsing off someone else. That shower is not about self-care, it's about self-erasure. I've seen it, I've done it, and I know how a racing heart scrubs skin raw as if soap can erase fingerprints that don't belong to you. And the bitter truth is this: most men never suspect cleanliness. They let the steam blind their vision. They let the scent of soap silence their gut, because it feels safer to accept the excuse than to face the reality. Women know the body tells stories, scents, clothes, and skin all carry evidence, and the quickest way to bury guilt is to scrub it away. That's why the "I just wanted to feel fresh" lie cuts so deep. It works because most men are willing to believe it. Here's where psychology tips come into play. Don't accuse in the heat of rage. Don't corner her with wild anger, because confrontation without proof only makes her better at hiding. Be calm, be sharp, be observant. Patterns speak louder than words. If the shower becomes ritual, if the timing is too perfect, if freshness starts to feel staged, then the truth is already in front of you. Love advice worth remembering. Your gut doesn't lie, and masculine strength comes from trusting it even when it hurts. Dating tips aren't just about how to win her heart. They're about how to protect yours, how to see through illusions, how to stand in truth without letting deceit replace your dignity. The more you ignore what you sense, the more you become an accomplice in your own betrayal, a man who willingly watches himself be replaced. Don't be that man. Be the man who notices, who connects dots, who refuses to be played. As Friedrich Nietzsche once said, "I'm not upset that you lied to me, I'm upset that from now on I can't believe you." That is the cost of the clean slate lie. It doesn't just erase evidence, it erases trust. So remember this: don't mistake soap for innocence, don't mistake routine for purity, and don't let convenience blind you to truth. Trust your instincts, respect your own boundaries, and never surrender your power to a staged performance of cleanliness. Because if the shower lie stings, know this: the next lie comes without soap, and it comes in bed. If this opened your eyes, like and share it with someone who needs to hear the truth. Don't forget to subscribe for more psychology tips and love advice that protect your masculinity. Comment to remember: I trust my gut, not her excuses. Lie number 5, The social media mask. When she posts a half-dressed picture and says, "It's just for me," don't be fooled. That's not self-love, that's bait. That's a net cast into digital waters to see who bites. Women are smart. They know social media is the perfect stage for attention. And every picture, every pose, every caption is designed with an audience in mind. I've heard women swear to their boyfriends, "Relax, I just like how I look," while secretly refreshing the screen, hoping the one man they truly crave notices. That selfie isn't validation from herself, it's an invitation, an open door for someone else to step through. When she claims her posts are harmless, understand what's really happening. She's testing two things: how many men will chase her image and whether you'll flinch. If you let it slide, she feels untouchable. If you challenge it, she flips it. Why are you insecure? Either way, she keeps control of the game. This is love psychology at work, the silent power play hidden beneath filters and hashtags. Don't ignore it. Don't play blind. Be awake to the game unfolding in front of you. The truth is simple. The more she feeds the world her image, the less special you become. Approval is a currency, and when she spends it on strangers for likes, your approval loses value. Every heart and comment from another man chips away at the uniqueness you once held. And here's the brutal part. When she starts receiving the validation she craves elsewhere, she doesn't just smile at the screen, she starts imagining him instead of you. That's not just a digital drift, that's the beginning of emotional replacement. Don't compete with a screen. Don't argue. Don't chase. You must never become another like in her pocket, another number in her notifications. Masculine men never fight for scraps online. They command respect in real life. That is what makes them attractive. If you want to attract women, set relationship goals rooted in strength, boundaries, and clarity. If she needs the world's eyes more than she needs yours, she's already slipping away, and you must be strong enough to see it. But here's the deeper warning. Some lies can't be hidden forever behind a screen. They come home scrubbed, disguised as self-care, masked as empowerment. You must learn to read between the pixels and see beyond the pose, because in the end, the man who sets firm standards and protects his value is the one who wins. That is the essence of love psychology. That is how you attract women who respect you. And that is how you set relationship goals that keep you in control instead of at the mercy of a digital lie. Lie number 6, the anger shield. It's one of the most destructive illusions in relationships because it hides guilt behind rage. When a woman has crossed the line, she'll start picking fights over dishes, your tone, or even the way you breathe. Then she'll flip it and say, "You're the problem." But the truth is far sharper. She's projecting. She can't face the mirror you hold up. She can't carry the weight of her own betrayal, so she throws smoke at you in the form of anger. I've seen it. I've lived it. Cheating followed by shifting the blame so he looks like the villain and she can hide in the victim's mask. As Marcus Aurelius, the old Stoic emperor, once said, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." That wisdom applies here. Don't let her guilt sculpt you into the role she's writing for you. Projection is an ancient tactic because a guilty heart always needs a villain. If she paints you as cold, controlling, or inattentive, she rewrites her story until she's the wounded one and you're left defending yourself against crimes you never committed. The more you argue, the deeper the trap, because defending yourself only gives her more ammunition. That's how guilt turns into control. She wins not because she's right, but because you took the bait. Don't play defense, don't beg, don't debate, don't justify. That is the way of weakness. A masculine man sees the tactic, calls it out calmly, and then steps back. You must understand this. When you refuse to wear the villain's mask, her entire script collapses. That's how you reclaim power. That's how you win. Epictetus, another great modern Stoic inspiration, taught, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This is Stoicism in action. Control yourself, not her storm. Don't be dragged into her chaos. Stand like a mountain in the flood. In today's world, with arguments spilling onto social media and digital life, anger shields don't just show up in the kitchen, they appear in posts, captions, and carefully curated online images designed to make her look like the victim. You must be the man who doesn't take the bait. You must stay calm, direct, unshaken. Remember, modern Stoic strength is not in shouting louder, but in refusing to be moved. Old Stoic wisdom is clear. Self-mastery beats emotional manipulation every time. That is the way to stand victorious in love, in life, and in yourself. Anger is only one mask, but if you can unmask it, you've already taken a step toward mastering the game. Be unshakable. Be wise. Be the man who cannot be rewritten by her guilt. And if you find today's content very interesting, please give me a word of encouragement by commenting "very interesting" in the comments section. That is a huge motivation for us. Thank you. Lie number 7, the late return story. One of the oldest tricks in the book, and yet men still fall for it because they mistake an alibi for an explanation. When a woman says work ran late or my phone died, understand that these aren't harmless reasons, but carefully chosen shields meant to block confrontation and buy her more time. And I know this because women know men crave logic over conflict. So traffic, overtime, or helping a friend sound reasonable and are almost impossible to disprove. Meanwhile, the faint scent of another man lingers on her skin, and she counts on you wanting to believe her. And that's where the real cruelty lies, because it's not about the strength of the lie, but the weakness of the man who accepts it without question. Don't be fooled. Every time you let that excuse slide, she learns your boundaries bend. And what begins as one late night at the office becomes a pattern of weekend work trips where you're slowly demoted from partner to placeholder, from priority to backup. And she flips the script so well that you start feeling guilty for even asking questions, thinking you're paranoid, when in reality you're simply awake. That is the danger of ignoring patterns. Don't get lost in the details of one excuse. Be the man who tracks behavior, not words. Psychology tips prove it clearly. Repetition creates routine, and when lateness and flimsy stories pile up, it's no longer about proof, it's about clarity. Masculine men don't interrogate, they set standards. You must be decisive. If her actions no longer match the relationship you agreed upon, then stop seeking explanations and start enforcing boundaries, because strength in love isn't about being blind. It's about being bold enough to see what's in front of you. Love advice worth remembering is this: excuses are the language of betrayal. Consistency is the language of loyalty. Dating tips rooted in psychology remind us that lies are cheap, but patterns are priceless, and every time you accept a weak story, you invest in your own decline. Don't give away your power. Be the man who requires truth, not just comfort. Be the man who values respect more than reassurance. The late return story is not about lateness, it's about leverage, and when you allow it, you hand over the steering wheel of the relationship. In modern life, where distractions, obligations, and temptations are everywhere, the man who sees through the mask and insists on honesty will not only protect his heart, but also command the kind of respect that women cannot fake. As Marcus Aurelius said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Don't surrender that power to lies wrapped in logic. Don't allow yourself to be turned into a background character in your own life. You must lead, you must demand clarity, and you must remember that a man who tolerates deception destroys his own foundation, while the man who sets standards builds a fortress no lie can penetrate. Lie number 8, the I love you bomb. When guilt is eating her alive, she won't grow quiet. She won't pull away. Instead, she'll say, I love you more than ever. Out of nowhere, she'll hug tighter, kiss deeper, and whisper sweet words as if she's rediscovered you. But here's the harsh truth. Those I love yous aren't for you. They're for her. They're her shield against the shame clawing at her conscience. I've seen women look a man dead in the eyes and declare, "You're my everything," even while their hearts were still replaying another man's touch. That is not romance. That is not passion. That is guilt wearing perfume. Guilt creates overcompensation. Instead of pulling back, some women smother. They drown you in affection, not because of desire, but because of panic. It's a performance, a smokescreen, a desperate attempt to erase suspicion before it has a chance to bloom. Those sudden bursts of affection are not born from passion, they're born from fear. She isn't trying to reconnect with you, she's trying to convince herself she isn't a betrayer. That is the psychology of guilt. Men fall hardest for this lie because it feels so real. You breathe easier. You think, she's back. She still loves me. But what you're really holding isn't her love, it's her guilt dressed up as devotion. Don't mistake guilty affection for real desire. Test the consistency. A man grounded in love psychology knows this. Real love is steady, predictable, and present in the ordinary moments, not just the dramatic ones. If her affection only shows up after unexplained absences, after sudden coldness, after she's been unreachable, then it isn't love, it's damage control. She's not holding you, she's clutching at her crumbling conscience. Masculine men who set strong relationship goals don't accept counterfeit intimacy. They know when affection is authentic and when it's a cover-up. They don't settle for panic-driven passion. They demand steady fire, not bursts of smoke. You must train yourself to see through the act. You must learn the difference between affection rooted in truth and affection dripping with guilt. That is how you protect yourself. That is how you attract women the right way, by refusing to be fooled by false signals. And remember, words aren't the only disguise. Wait until you hear the excuse she gives when she comes home late. If this opened your eyes, don't just watch, act. Protect your masculine frame by seeing through guilty affection and counterfeit intimacy. Comment to remember. I only accept love that is real and consistent. Lie number 9, the silent kiss. When she pulls away in bed and mumbles, "I'm just stressed," it sounds reasonable, but stress doesn't drain the warmth out of her lips, doesn't erase softness from her embrace, doesn't turn desire into indifference. Stress fades with rest. Fulfillment with another man does not. If her kiss feels like dead weight, if her body no longer reaches for you, it means her passion has already been redirected. The lips of truth shall be established forever, but a lying tongue is but for a moment. Proverbs. Women know the excuse of stress buys them sympathy, but you must train yourself like a modern Stoic to see past appearances. Don't be the man who clings to denial. Don't give more affection, more patience, more effort hoping to revive what's already gone. That is the trap. The more you chase, the further she drifts because she doesn't need your touch. She already gave herself away. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." Apply the same rule to relationships. If her body betrays her words, believe the body. Respect your intuition over her excuses. That instinct you feel is your shield. Don't argue, don't beg, don't push harder. Step back. Let the truth reveal itself. Masculine men don't chase ghosts. They recognize when presence has left the room, when lips that once ignited fire now carry only the ashes of betrayal. Be an old Stoic in wisdom and a modern Stoic in action, calm, detached, resolute. If she suddenly showers you with "I love yous," don't be flattered too quickly. Guilt often dresses itself as affection, but forced tenderness cannot restore what was already surrendered. Modern life makes these lies easier to tell, blaming stress, work, exhaustion. But human nature hasn't changed. Desire doesn't die in a day. It shifts its loyalty. So guard your dignity. Recognize the difference between fatigue and indifference, between stress and betrayal. You must stand firm, master your emotions, and claim victory over illusions. That is the path of Stoicism. That is the path of a man who refuses to be deceived. Trust your senses, trust your strength. Walk away with clarity, not confusion. because the man who sees truth without denial is the man who masters not just his relationship, but his life. Lie number 10, the makeup alibi. When a woman suddenly invests in perfume, lingerie, lipstick, and heels, and then claims it's just self-care, psychology tips remind us to look deeper because behavior always speaks louder than words. You must understand that women rarely spend hours in front of the mirror and money on their appearance for no reason. And if she hasn't been making an effort for you but suddenly transforms, that is not love advice in action. That is a red flag. She is not reviving intimacy with you. She is rehearsing it for someone else. And when she smiles and says, "I just wanted to feel pretty tonight," what she really means is she wants to feel desired, but not by the man at home. And you must not be fooled by this guilty affection, because consistency is the real measure of attraction. Real attraction shows up every day in warmth, touch, and energy, while fake attraction always arrives in bursts wrapped in guilt. So don't reward sudden perfume and lingerie with validation. Don't convince yourself that she has magically rediscovered passion, because that is exactly how men sleepwalk into betrayal. The truth is, when she dresses up for another man, you are holding the cover story she hands you, and the more you believe it, the more she uses it. Soon, she will smell like roses in your arms, but the roses aren't for you. And if you keep smiling and accepting it, you are training yourself to be blind to reality. So here's your dating tips reminder. Step back, test the pattern. Don't confront out of anger, but observe carefully, because a woman rehearsing intimacy elsewhere cannot deliver authentic intimacy to you. And if her kiss lands cold, if her embrace feels empty, if her sudden beauty routine is wrapped in excuses, you must face the truth with courage. Don't cling to illusions. Don't romanticize guilty behavior. And don't let yourself be the last one to know, because strength in love is not blind trust, but sharp perception. And when it comes to relationships, you must be both tender and wise, seeing past perfume and makeup into the motives beneath. Real love does not need cover stories. Real intimacy does not hide behind self-care excuses. And real loyalty does not dress up for another man. So be decisive, be alert, and remember. Psychology tips, love advice, and dating tips all agree on one thing. Your power as a man lies in refusing to be deceived by appearances, in reading the truth between the lines, and in protecting your dignity with eyes wide open. And now, brother, you've heard all 10 lies, the ones that sound sweet but mean the opposite. The truths most men never see until it's too late. But let me leave you with this. The real battle isn't about catching her in the lie, it's about never lying to yourself again. Don't ignore what your gut already knows. Don't beg for honesty when her actions already tell the story. Be the man who commands respect, not the man who chases it. That's your power. That's your protection. So here's my sincere advice. If her words don't match her actions, believe the actions. Don't stay blind. Respect yourself enough to walk away when respect is gone. Masculine energy doesn't cling, it stands firm. And that's exactly what makes it unforgettable. Thanks for spending this time with me. Stay sharp, stay strong, and most of all, stay true to yourself. I'll see you in the next one, brother.